Hi everyone, welcome to day 21. So exciting. Please confirm if you can hear me. Hi Suzanne, hi Christiana, hi Gloria, hi Wisdom. Good to have you guys here. Fantastic. We're back to class again. I hope your assignment is going great. Hope your assignment is going great. I don't know let me check. Let me check which of the um, browser I'm using for the assignment. I know I wrote your I know I did the assignment somewhere. So let me see where I actually worked on the assignment. So just give me a minute. I'm trying to pull up so that I can read your comments on my other screen. So that I can read your comment on another screen. Okay, so great. I can see your comment. Ivy, yeah, well done. Kisley, well done. Isaac, well done. And Francis, well done. So I'm trying to look for LS. Okay, I think I need to CD dash LS. Okay, so CD bank app. I think it was here. I wrote. So code dot slash. It's going to open another stuff for me. So let me check that that let me see. It's loading. So let me just go back to when it's done loading. We'll do it back. So let's just do cd and then cd python tutorials. Okay, we are back. So calculate this. Great. So I'm using WSL Ubuntu. So just the case for some of you. But today's class, we're going to be looking at concept of OOP. Okay, so let's start here. We're looking at concept of OOP. I think maybe when I'm done with the class, I might just go to the assignment and check. I don't want to start there first. Let me not be carried away. So look at the concept of OOP, which is Python class introduction. Okay. Remember, I said to you that everything in Python is an object. Everything in Python is an object. So let's take a look at introduction to object-oriented programming. Now, this concept is not just attached to Python only; it's attached to other programming language. C++ has class, Java has class, JavaScript also has class, C has class, and most of I think a lot of PHP has class too. I think so. So most of this programming language has a concept of object-oriented programming. So it's so OP is a programming paradigm that uses object to structure and organize code. So the concept of OOP is to structure and organize code. Okay, it represents a reward entity. It represents a reward entity and contains both data. Look at what it contains: data called attributes, behaviors called methods. Get the concept on time so that you don't um, lose guard in quotes. So every class has data and has behaviors. Okay, so the data in the class we call them attributes, and the behaviors are methods. So that's why we call them reward entity. Okay, take a human being for example. A human being is an entity. Remember when we were in school, we used to do entity relationships and all under a course. Oh, I've forgotten that course. I can remember the name of the lecturer, but I can't remember the name of the course because the lecturer was an amazing person, or he's an amazing person. So so we have entities. I think we did entities record. We did for eyes and all of that. So I read computer science just in case you want to know what I'm thinking from or where I'm thinking from. So So in a real world, let's say a human being is an entity. All right, you as a person, you're an entity. You have a data. Your data are things like your color, skin color, height, weight, um, name. All right. So those are common things that you have. Now you also now have behaviors. All right. Behaviors are like you like to sleep this way. You like that things should be done this way. You you walk. Walking is with behavior. You walk. You talk. You jump. All right. You sit. Okay. You you know normal basic stuff of behaviors of human beings. You understand? You expect that human being should talk. That's a behavior. You expect that human being should walk with two legs. You expect that a human being can be able to do some certain stuff. That is behavior. So as a human being, in terms of a class or a programming language, concept, you have data, you have behaviors. So in class, we call those data attributes, and we call those behaviors methods. Okay. Now, attributes is more like, let me break it down again. Let me break it down. Attribute is more like a variable. Okay. A variable that is declared in a class. Methods are functions that are attached to a class. That's just a simple concept. Okay. Now, attributes are variable that I declared in a class that every method or every object of that class uses. For example, every human being has a name. All right. Every human being has a name. That is an attribute for every human being. So when you are born, you must share that stuff. So when God take class, the next part is classes are blueprints or templates for creating objects. So take it when God created human being, for example. When God created human being, huh? According to what I think God created human being, what I believe. All right. I don't believe my idea that human came from or other stuff and all of that. So God created humans. All right. And in that case where God created humans, or a human being created the first man, there was a blueprint to it that he created. The man has head, has two eyes. Those are features of a human being. But then there are some things that are attributes of a human being. But then can talk. Let me not jump. First of all, the human being has a name. Adam has a name. That's an attribute. All right, has a name. So every human being must have a name. That's why when God made woman, Adam gave woman Eve, called her Eve. So she gave her a name. And so they then have other things they do. They can talk, they can walk, they can they can see and all those stuff. So all of these things that God did with Adam before making the next person, when for the next other man, the next man to come into the world, after Adam, the children of Adam, they were not needed to be formed again from the dust. God already, that's why I said to people, God is the first programmer, whether you like it or not. He is the first programmer. So he already made that system that when Adam reproduced, Adam used that object, that instance of the object that God has already created to bring forth the next person. And then the next person now began to carry attributes. Like the next person was given a name, okay, set, was could talk, that's behavior, stand, sit, So you see the idea. So class take class as a template or a blueprint that you use for creating objects. Okay, I hope with this few explanation of mine, you are not confused, but you understand what I'm saying. I know before it seems as if like I'm preaching, but I'm literally not preaching, but just teaching you so that you understand the concept of how to think about class. All right, are we good? Fine, fine, fantastic. I like that. So my explanation was not uh, in vain. So let's look at defining class in Python. Okay, let's define class in Python. So, okay, database management, EM model. Yeah, 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 yeah. There are many. When you say ERO model, there are many, many acronyms for ERO. I would like to get the full meaning of it so that I will confirm if what I'm thinking is what you are saying. Replying Francis. But database management, I don't. I've forgotten the title of that. I'm not sure it's database management, but I know it's something computing stuff. It's a very very nice course. So let's look at an example. We're talking about let's talk about a class. Okay, fine. Let's talk about a class dog. Okay, let's talk about dog for example. Francis, I agree with you now. So a dog, let's say every dog has a species. Um, if you're conversant with dog, they have those ones they call German Shepherd, this, that. Not kind of really my thing, but yeah. So I know someone who is very good with dogs. So let's say we have dog. We want to create a class called dog, and every dog must have what's species of dog or what breed of dog it is. So let's just assume that the kind of dog we are going to a particular when you have in humans, you have different race, across continents. So we are going to in that dog, this is the particular um race we are giving to them or species. We are giving them calling them canis familiaris. That's what we're calling them. Now, so it means every objects of dog that we are going to build from this class we are creating must has this attribute. This is an attribute as by default. It has it by default. If you ask, even if the dog name is Bingo, if you ask what is the species of this Bingo, you will know that the species is Canis familiaris. Just the same way you can have a German Shepherd dog and they call the dog Bingo or they call the dog Jack or something. But aside asking Jack, you want to say what is the actual species of this Jack that you call Jack. All right. So Jack is just an object of that dog at that instance. But what is the species of that dog? You start saying it's German Shepherd and all of that. Okay, great. So this is it. Then the next thing is there's what we call a constructor in when you are building a class, a constructor. So a constructor actually is what this is a constructor and it looks like a function anyway. It's initialize instance attributes. Okay, it initializes the instance attributes. So what we're saying is that when you want to create an object of a class or you want to create an instance of a class, there are variables that you need to pass. Remember when we talked about parameters, okay, and arguments. Okay, that sometimes when you're building a function, you pass in some parameters and arguments. So it is possible that when you want to call in a class, there are some um, variables or attributes that needs to be created or that needs to be given, and also those variables or attributes can be used within that class. Okay, which I'm going to explain. Just follow me, guys. Okay, I believe OP will have maybe class one, class two, and thereabout. Because it's a concept that I need you guys to understand very well. Because it's going to also direct your assessment for the week. Okay, for example, most of the things you design, I'll tell you break them into OP for me. As a clue to how your assessment might be at the end of the week. So, given these facts, so this is how we declare a constructor. You use normal def, but then we start with underscore init underscore. Now, every class must have this function or this method. Every class. Okay. Then once you do that, you open your bracket. Now, every method inside a a class must have what we call the self keyword. Okay, so what does self keyword does? Self keyword allows you to be able to make any variable within that class accessible by all the methods. Any variable that is attached to self makes the variable global. Remember when we did function, we talked about local, global variable and local variable. That's global scope and local scope. So the self method or the self keyword allows you to ensure that a variable is global across different methods. So we have self. Now, a function in in a method can, or a method in a class rather, might not have self. Okay, you can declare method that don't have self, but it's traditional anyway to just ensure that all your methods have self, especially when you are passing variables to it. Because with self, you can be able to interact with other variables from other functions. Just follow me. Everything I'm saying is where it's played on the code. So as I'm talking, when I get to a place, I've already explained it. You just see it. Okay. So def init, def underscore init underscore underscore, and then self will pass in the attribute that we need when we are calling this, when we are building an object. We need to give the name of the dog and what is the age of the dog. Okay. Then when you pass in these two variable, we are going to save them. This is the variable here. We are going to save them into a new variable called self.name. Okay. And then we're going to save the age that the user is going to pass into self.age. So we have two variables here called self.name, self.age. All right. Then this is where we now build behaviors or instance inside that class. So there is a function, or this time I'll call it method, because a function, I'm saying function that you guys get used to the idea, but inside the class is a method. Okay, so there's a method called description. And what this method is doing is that anytime we say we want to call this class and we call, let's say we want to say what is the description of this dog or of this instance that we have created, it will tell us the name and then the age. So you see here in this case, we are saying print self.name. The reason why we can be able to access these variables in another method is because when we declared this description method, there's a self passed into it. So with that self, we can be able to call any variable that is already existing from different methods. So self.name is no, the name of the stuff is this age years old. So that's the description we want to give. We can also decide to say, and the species, we can put the species here if we want to. And then the next thing is anytime we call a speak um, um, method, we want the user to pass in the sound. Okay, we want the user to pass in the sound. You see now, that's why I said self. We say print self.name says this sound. What sound? So anytime this method is called, a sound must be passed. So let me run this so that we can apply it. Somebody saying just when I think I'm already getting good with this thing, another topic has come again. It's fine. So creating object instance, you can create object instances by a class by calling the class constructor. So this is where we initiate the class. So let's say we have, let's call this one dog one, for example. Let me call it, let's just call it Mickey. Okay, we call it Mickey. Then we want to create a new dog, for example, from existence now. So we call it Mickey, like the word Adam. So we took our class that we've created, and oh, I forgot to tell you guys, please. You see, when I was creating a class, it starts with a capital letter. Okay, that's the tradition in Python. So we have a class keyword, capital letter always. Your class must always start with a capital letter. It doesn't mean if you start with a lower letter, it will not work. But that's how we recognize that something is a class. I can easily know that something is a class in Python when I see that that stuff or whatever you are importing starts with a capital letter. And yes, you can import class. You can also create class to become modules. Okay, and there are no parentheses attached to it. And also, we also follow our traditional column. for indentation. So we pass in the name because we said that we need the name, all right, and then we need the age. Great. So let's run this Mickey. Fine. So now we have created an object, or we've created an object called Mickey, and this Mickey has a name and age. So let's say we want to access the attributes now, that special that we created. You notice that when I'm calling an attribute, I don't put parentheses. I told you guys one thing. When you call attribute, you don't put parentheses. So when we do Mickey dot species, it's going to tell us that Mickey species is canis, camin or familiaris. Then what is the description of I want to show you something again. Let's say what is if I want to know the age, I can do Mickey dot age, and it's going to tell me 6. Remember, when we set it, it's 6. Now, why this thing is possible is because age is an attribute that we declared here. Anything that you declare inside yourself, your underscore in it is also an attribute. Okay, why this is a global attribute that we just declared outside. Same also, this is an attribute that we can also call. So meaning I can still do something like Mickey dot name, and it will tell me that the name is Mickey. Okay, so if the name maybe I initiated it as dog one, let me just do that. Let's just say this is dog one, or let's say first dog. So the first dog created, his name is Mickey, and it's of this age. So what is the species of first dog? And then what is the age of first dog? Then what is the name of our first dog? Now it will make sense that the name of our first dog is Mickey. So what is the description of our first dog? So Mickey is 6 years old. That's the description of our dog. Now we want to now do speak. Remember I said that when we want to use the method speak, and you should also know that when you want to call a method, you use the dots. So first dog dot. It could. Let me show you something. I can type something like this. First dog, and I click dots. It's going to bring out now. This is why I show you a trick. Okay, when you do something like this, anything that looks like a bracket, this bracket, and then there's this a little kind of box inside, automatically that's an attribute in Python. But when you see something like this description, you see this cube or something, that is a method in Python. Very important. That's how I just know. That's my own way to just learn. Okay. Anything you see like this, there's a bracket square, and that's a method. But anyone you see like this, that is a sorry, this is an attribute, this is a method to help you understand better so that you know how to call them. For example, now if I call age, which is an attribute, and I pass in this, I'm going to get an error. You see, I'm going to get an error that is not callable, it's an int. But if I remove it, great, it's going to work. But if I come to description and remove this parenthesis and run it, it's just going to tell me that this is a. When you see anytime you see a response like this, hmm, just know that it's telling that what you just called is a method. So it's a bound method. It's a bound method dog description. So it's a bound method. So since this is a method, for me to be able to run it and get the result, I need to call it by putting parentheses or parentheses. That's it. So debugging is very, very easy, guys. It's just for you to know what you should know. So let's call the speak. So we passed in woof woof. It will tell you that Mike says woof woof. Now let's call this one a second dog. I don't want to call it Rocky so that you know. Let's call it second dog that was created. So our second dog that was created, his name is Rocky and he's 3 years old. So if we print our first dog dot species, first dog dot species, second dog here, They are both having the same species. All right. Now, I want to let you know that, let me use another example to paint what a class is. How many of us have been to an estate before? And in such an estate, all the house looks similar. You understand? The pattern looks similar. Block A, block B, everything looks similar. They built it the same way. What's the difference between those houses? Is that the owner, if you pick the owner, for example, which is an object, the owner, inside the house, you must have maybe it's two-bedroom flat or just three-bedroom, whatever. But then when the owner of block A has a car and the car is blue. The owner of block A has a big screen television, has a white sofa. So even as much as the house is the same pattern, there are things in between that changes, okay, based on the owner of the house. And that owner of the house is the object that we are talking about, okay, which has the ability to transform some things, the arrangement of things inside the house. But the house, any house you are going to build in that estate must be built like this. It has this own laid down pattern. Must be designed this way. The door must be here. Even as much as the door must be here, the content inside will change. But all those house shares one stuff. They share the same estate name. Okay, so you see, they share the same estate name. So even if as much as they are owned by different persons, they share similar informations. Okay, they share similar information. Just like in a street, even as much as there are different numbers, number this, number that, number that, they all share the same stuff, which is a street name. So that street name is the attribute of every house in that area, or in that on that street. The name of the street is an attribute. All right. So even if it's Mr. A that owns this house, Mr. B that owns this house, they have the same attribute. That's the concept I want you guys to understand. I hope I'm not. Hey guys, you now need to let me know that you're actually getting what I'm saying. Okay, can I see your comments, or maybe a like emoji? Just drop like and let me know that you're following me on this. Because let me find like. Okay, let me know you are following me on this. Anybody? No comment yet, or some of you are watching my stream from behind. Yeah, okay, glad you understood, sir. So, yeah, I've already done. So let's, like we said, let's ask for what is our first dog age. It's separate from, say, first dog age is 6, but then our second dog age is, they're all separate. All right. The description of our second dog is separate, and our second dog does not do woof woof. Second dog do boo boo. So so these two dogs that we've created, they all share the same description, the same, the same structure, but they behave differently, or they might behave, but they have similar stuff. That's why we say all humans are the same, but we are not. We are different, or something like that. Okay, do I want to explain inheritance now? I'm just thinking about it, or should I just first of all explain another concept of a class that you understand? Let me type. Let me just code. Let me code and say second explanation, for example. Let me just type and say second car model. Or come this. Let's do something like this. Let's say we want to build a class called class car. Okay. So class will start with see you later. Class car, for example. Now every car must have a model. So we don't want to declare it a global. All right. So let's say we want to say we have a def and I have my init myself. Okay. Now, when you build a car, you must give it a model. Okay, that's the model underscore name. What's the model name? And let's say you must give it the year of production. Year of production. Okay, so these are things that we should give a car. So I'll say self dot model name, model underscore name is equal to. Now I can just say model anyway, but sometimes it's just good to ensure that what you are passing is equal to what you are building as self, and then self dot year of production or year of prod is equal to year of prod. So we need these two variables when we are declaring this. What if mm, the color? Okay. What if we want to have something like what if I want the color of a car? Because if you are building a car, you give it a color. But it's possible that the color change. All right, color changes. So let's just leave that as maybe like a function, or we can call it a behavior of a car. So the next thing is we want to a car can move, safe. So anytime we say move, would say that print that let's print that the car self dot self uh, dot model name is moving. Okay, I want to create a function that does the moving of a car. Okay, then we can have other functions like that. Def now color. Let's just do color, and we can say that let's put self because I want to use it first. I want to do something self color. This is where we can set the color of a car. You can say that I want to say, let's say by default all cars color. Let's say let's say color by default. The color of a car is black by default. Okay. So let's say when the user call the color function, we want to ask the user to um, say self. Let's say we tell the user to change the color of that car. So we can say self dot color is equal to um, the color that the user wants to pass. All right. Now, once the user pass that, we want to now say that self um, we want to now say that okay. Let's leave it like this first. I'm trying to do something. Okay. I think I know what to do. I'm going to say color, and then I'm going to set it to be black. Okay, so let's say in this case, you don't need to pass it. We'll make it a default. Um, we'll make it a default stuff, and then we'll just say self.color is equal to color. I hope I'm not confusing anybody now. Okay, so but anytime we the user passing color in this case, or let's say when we call this, we don't need to pass in any color first. Let's just say when we call this, we're going to have somebody. We're going to say color. You're going to say that self.color is going to be impute new car color. Okay, and then we're going to say that print that we're going to say print that string, and I'll say that the self dot let's say I want to print the object name out. I want to say that Okay, model name. Okay, let's just say, let's just do that. The model underscore name. I have to put self here. Self dot model underscore name is now of color self dot color. Okay. So last one, let me just say self dot stop functions stop. Let's say if you click on stop and then we drop this one down, we can have say that. Let me just copy this and just paste it here. Okay, Control V and say that is on a standstill. It's on a standstill. Great. So this simple stuff that I just want to create to teach you guys how this thing works. So let me just run this. Great. So let's say we have car one, or let's not say we have car one. Let's say we have what do we do now? Shall I say oh my god. Okay, let's say we have Toyota for example. Or let's say we have Gloria's car. This is Gloria's car, for example. Gloria underscore car. Gloria went to buy a car. We'll give Gloria what is the method of Gloria's car, the model that Gloria bought. You can see now I have um, the name should be any, the year should. So I can still come back here and do those stuff that we used to do where we can say dot stro so that it knows that this is a string and this is dot stro2 so that it knows that this is a string. Now, where this is important is so that when I do car and I open parentheses, it tells you what to pass. Okay, it tells you what to pass. So, what is the model of this car? Gloria, what is the model of your car? Let's give you, let's say it's a Nissan car, Nissan 225. No, let's say Nissan ES, something like that. Nissan ES something. I don't know. And what is the year of that car? The year of that car is funny enough, we are passing we should pass in a string, but we should pass in an integer. But because we are not using the year for calculate, we might want to use the year for calculation anyway. Cases where we want to know how many years the car has last or something. But in this case, I'm not using it for calculation, so I'll just say it's 2025 model, and I can leave it that way because by default, if I run it like this, it works because we've set that by default every car color is black. Unless I want to change it that when they were creating this car, they made it red. You understand that thing we used to call first body. uh But by default, it is black. What I'm saying is that if I come here and say Gloria car dot color, what is the color of Gloria's car, and I run it, it's going to tell me it's black. But if I come back here and say set the color to be red, because when we did this car, we made this car red, and I run it. If I do Gloria's car dot color, it changes it to red. Okay, that's what this that's why I left it default here. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. I can also take it off and say save.color is equals to black. And you don't need the user does not need to, in that case, the user does not need to pass it in this place for you to be. What I'm saying is that let's just try it. Let's just try it and say, let's say we don't have this here. And we just say save.color is equals to black. Okay, and then we run this. Great. So I will not need to put this here. I'll take it off and then I will run. So if I come back and do save.color, it's black. Okay, you get it's black. But I cannot come back here and I say red, for example, and run it. I'm going to get an error to tell me that I'm passing three things. Okay, and it's only two stuff that is required because I've taken the right for when we're building it, I've taken the right away from the user. You cannot put color there. So the only way we can change this color if I leave it this way. Oh my god, I'm just going here and here in this thing. But It's I hope you understand. The only way we can change it in this format is by calling this method. It is only this method that can change it for us. Only this method that can change it in this case. All right. But so let me show you. Let me show you how only this method can change it. So let me take this one off. I run it. And we have our color is black. So if I come back here and say that Gloria car dot color, because we want to change it now. If I call it, I think it's color we set it as, and I call it what my string is not callable. I think there's a problem. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, okay, okay. The name of my function and if they are the same. So let me do color underscore change. Or let's call it change underscore color. So this will be better. Great. So let's run it this way. So the reason why I was having an error there was that the name of my function, the name of the method was the same with the name of the attribute. So there was an issue. So I'll call this one a change color. So when I call it, it's going to ask me to pass in the new color. So let's now pass, let's put blue and I will run it. Great. So it tells me that the desired executive is now color blue. So if I come back here and copy, why is my screen big? What's happening? Why is it big? What's going on? Okay, great. So if I come back here and copy the color now and paste it, you see that it has changed to blue. So that's the essence of how we are building this thing. All right. But the way we built it before is that a user can initially at the beginning um, of the when initializing that class, you can be able to change what is there. I hope you guys understand what we are saying. Hmm? Are we good? Can I get a comment? Can I get a comment? Okay. Isaac said that's using default parameter value. Yeah, yeah, yes, that's me using default parameter values. Okay. I didn't even see Gloria to say which car she wants. Okay, wisdom say yes. But great, great, great. So, so this is it, guys. So this is the concept. Okay. So the way we did it before, like I said, is that when a when you are building it, then they cannot decide to say they want to change the color or when you're initiating. But now the way we did it is that every this is actually where we say that every car you create by default is black. The way I did it before, it's here by default is black, but you can change it when you are building it. So we'll stick with this. I like this. So we get the color. Now when we change the color is now blue. We can also get to find we can also now say Gloria's car, Gloria underscore car dot move, and then it tells us that okay. Now I forgot to put my parentheses. The sign S is no, it's moving, and then we can also stop it. We can also stop it by saying dot stop, and then it says the sign is on a standstill. Great. So this is a practical example of me building teaching you how to use um, you know OOP to giving you the concept of OOP in this case. All right. So is there any question? Because I'm thinking, should I um oh 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 guys. So where I wow. So the place I wrote the assignment, oh wow, it's not on this system. Oh, I think I used my other PC for that. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so I used my other PC for it. Okay, great, great. So I wanted to show you guys the sample of the assignment I gave to you, but I just realized that I used my second PC for that. So and it's not what I'm currently using to hold this class. So that's painful. I wanted you guys to see that I did this stuff and probably get a clue from it. I don't want to send the file to you because if I send it to you, you would not you would just copy the idea and just go and say you've done your assignment. But I wanted to show you that it's possible the way I did it. But anyway, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'll check the other PC and see. Oh, it's definitely on the other PC. All right, guys. So I guess we are good with this, and that's the concept I want us to understand. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is inheritance, but I don't want to. I want to talk about inheritance, and let's just talk about it. Let's know that we are done with it. So let's talk about inheritance with in the next 10 minutes that we have. So inheritance allows you to create a new class that inherits attributes and methods from an existing class. That's the concept of inheritance. It allows you to create a class that you know, it inherits attributes and method from an existing class. So I want to there's a thought that came to my mind. Inheritance is when the father gives birth to a child, and the child has the look and feel of the father. Oh, hey, look like your dad. Oh, you talk like your dad. You behave like your dad. So that ability for that child to pass has um some attribute and behavior. The attribute there is that if the parents are dark in complexion, the child is it's going to be dark in complexion. If the parents they are fair, child's going to be fair. If the parents have a name, child's going to take the name which they will have definitely. Take the surname. Some of you here, your name here, it's your name is Gloria, but the other name you took it from somebody. Okay, so that's the inheritance. Your face, you took it from somebody. That's the inheritance. Okay, and some of you here, you laugh the way your mom laugh, or you laugh the way your dad laughs, or you laugh the way your siblings, both of you share some stuff because it's inheritance. So that concept also applies in OOP. We have inheritance, we have encapsulation, we have polymorphism. These are concepts in OOP that you want to look at. But let's look at inheritance quickly. So let's say we have a class called anima. It's our parent class, anima. All right. Now, animal, there are different type of animals. There are, different species of animal. So, but animal is an entire class. Just say when human being is an entire class. All right. Then you now have different race. So we have animal, and when you are when you're calling an animal, you give it a name and a species. What is the name of the animal? What is the species of the animal? Then we just declare some things like the animal makes sound and the animal walks. Right? Those are methods of the animal. So I'll run it. So let's say this is an animal called tiger. We want to create an instance. We can I just told you guys that please don't, when your name is an attribute, don't ensure it inside does not have the same name with it. Oxen. So animal, tiger, cat. We run this. And then what is the name of the animal? Is a tiger. What is the species of the animal? It's a cat. No, what sound does a tiger does? It rouse. But then we now have another class called dog. Okay, so dog is an animal, but then dog needs to inherit something from an animal, from the animal class. Okay, so we started by declaring the the constructor in it, and then we say when you are creating a dog, passing the name and the age, and then passing the species of that dog. So the species of the dog is canis, and then this is where we are inheriting. This is where we inherit that the super, this super in terms of put parentheses, the super keyword parentheses dot init underscore init. Then we pass in the whatever we are inheriting. We are going to inherit the name of the animal, and then we are going to inherit the species of the animal. Okay, and then we now declared age to say that whatever age you put when you created this dog, put it on self dot age. Then we need the description. So when we call description, we say that the name of the animal is this years old. I want to check something. Okay, I'm not rewriting any method for now. So we run this. So if we say the dog name is Bully, what is the species of the dog? It's Canis barbaris. What is the name? The name is Bully. What is the age? The age is 10. Now, this is where it gets tricky. If you see when I created this function, when I created this class, I did not put make sound inside. Make sound is inside the other class, the class animal. But now we'll go to this part of my code. I am calling inherit. So because it's an inheritance, and I didn't show you what is inheriting it also. Great, sorry, let's go back. When you want to create an inheritance, after you pass in the new class you are calling, this is when you now pass in a parameter, or you open a parenthesis and you pass in the name of the class that you want it to inherit for. All right, and then once we say this is what we want it to inherit for, the super underscore tells us the attribute that we want to also inherit from the class. So so when I say dog miss and you can see that it says that bully woof woof. All right, bully woof woof. Now somebody, why does he have the ability to say bully woof woof? What is the description? The description here is that we say self.name dot self dot sound. Okay, so because we've inherited that class, we can be able to call that method by another class. So we can also do walk, it will walk. You can also do description, it will describe. So this is a pure, simple example of it. Now, your assignment I'm going to give to you today, that I think I need an assignment on the group chat, submitted on the group chat, is find an entity and create an object for it, create a class for it, and also create the concept of inheritance from it. Okay, I need that assignment submitted before class tomorrow. You know me, the way I come to the Slack channel, I'll just appear and start saying where's the assignment. So do that on your comps. You don't need to you can just if you do it. Okay, this is how we're going to submit it. Send it directly to me on the Slack channel. Inbox me. Send your the answer to me, so that in case if you have any problem on your code, I will answer it with you directly. So once you do it, you can take a screenshot of it. If it's 2 page, screenshot it. Tell me this is page one, this is page two. What is the outcome? Let me see the outcome and the results. And then if there's any error, I'll be able to correct it for you. Okay, so Gloria, please take that assignment and then drop it on the comment section or even on the Slack channel. Well, guys, this is cool. So we've done about OOP and inheritance. Maybe tomorrow I might also bring a more detailed structure where we'll look at it on OOP and then we'll proceed from there. If there are no questions, let me see. Does anybody have any question? Feel free to comment it. Okay, Casey says we are good. Isaac says we are following. Okay. Any question? Okay, so we are good. I like that. I like that, guys. So since we're good, I like the way we are catching up. So we'll meet on the Slack channel, and please don't forget to turn in the assignment for the database. I don't know. Today was not just the day to show you. Maybe tomorrow, but the deadline is on Wednesday, and the Google form is going to be shared at most by tomorrow, so that you can start submit your assignment. That assignment is very very good, and all these assignments I'm giving to you, they has to be on your CV. I wish you are documenting them also because they're very important. You need to put them also on your LinkedIn. Very important because you have to share what you've learned and what you are doing. So, guys, that's our class for today, and we will see on the Slack channel. Cheers and bye bye.